All right, what is up, guys? Thank you so much for joining me today on the Referral Ready Business Bootcamp Session 1. I am so excited to get this class started. Today, we're going to be going over vision, goals, and laying the foundation of productivity, right? Um, so we're going to get some clarity around your life and your business vision. We're going to get some of the biggest reasons why most people don't hit their goals. We're going to go over those, over my top tips for actually hitting your goals, and we're going to up level your belief, your self-talk. You'll learn how to be one of the most productive people that you know in this training, right? And then you'll learn how to build unbelievable trust in yourself as well. Before we get started, a little bit about me for those of you who don't know my story. My name is Michael Ortiz Jr. I've been a massage therapist since 2006. Right when I first started, and I got out of school, I always knew that I didn't want to start my own business, or I always knew that I didn't want to work for somebody else. Right. So my first job though was at Massage Envy, and I remember when I started working there, I told a friend of mine, I said, "Dude, if I'm here for more than 2 years, I need you to punch me in the face, right? Because I can't do this." I was there for 5.5 years, right? Before I ended up finally going out on my own. There was a year transition where I was working full time still, like 3.5 days, but like 10-hour days on the 3 days, and 3.5 days in my own business. Month one in my own business, I did about 18 hours. Month six, I grew that to 60 hours. By month 12, I was at 90 hours. Now, I was sharing that room with somebody else. And by month six, I was at 60, he was at 3, right? I don't know what the difference is exactly, but at that point, that's when I took over the room fully. After the year happened, that's when I decided to hire 2 therapists to work for me as well. That probably one of the hardest things I've ever done, right? But that taught me so much about how to do things, how to grow a business, and how to use, like the tools and the things everybody hates on, things like Groupon, chair massage, all these things, how to use that successfully, because we use those things to build my business and their business. Eventually, I grew that business up to 6 therapists and over 400,000 in revenue. Um, and then 2020 happened. I had just a year before 2020 opened up my second location, put one of our therapists over into that location, so that she could be in her own business, but under my brand. It was like a licensing type of a deal. Um, then 2020 happened. And so we shut that location down, brought her back. And it was at that moment I decided, well, I asked myself, like, what do I really want? Right. And the answer that came to me was peace. Right. I wanted more peace because I was in a grind trying to grow my business and their business. And while successful, also kind of all over the place. Right. And so I slowed down. I didn't fire anybody, but I stopped hiring. And so when they trickled out and ended up going out on their own, just about everybody who's worked for me has gone out on their own and into their own practice. I just didn't replace them. And I focused on me. I focused on my clientele, raising my prices. Um, and so I got a lot of the processes down. I got a lot of um, and I created a lot of peace around my schedule and my life. I work a lot. Anne Marie hit me up in 2020 for business coaching. I wasn't even a business coach before that. Had no plan to be a business coach, but she's like, "Yeah, but can you?" Right? Like, didn't you talk me into it? Like, I was like, I don't know. So I kind of winged it through that, to be honest with you. Just teaching her what I learned myself. Um, well, after that experience with her, though, I realized that was some of the most fun I've ever had. Right. And I realized that what I really liked about having my own business was showing the therapist what to do to be successful and watching them go do it. And it worked. And so I started doing that a lot more. I've traveled to Virginia, I've traveled to Delaware to help therapists grow their own figure out what the problems are in their practice, fix those problems, and then help them grow. Right. One of my clients in Delaware, I think after I spent 2 days with her and her team of 6 therapists, she like went from her therapists weren't selling any packages, they weren't really rebooking anybody, to I think selling like 30 packages the next month just from like one talk. And so I've got some decent proof that what I teach actually works. Right. So fast forward to now, I just hired another therapist. And so we're working on growing her practice as well as continuing to maintain mine. And I'm getting a lot more into business coaching, and I absolutely love it. I am working a lot, but I have more peace, I have more time, I have more freedom than I've ever had before, even though I'm way busier and I'm doing way more than I used to do. Right? How do I do that? Because of productivity, because I can compartmentalize the activities that I need to do, which is what we're going to go over today. I really appreciate you guys being here. And look, this course is for service providers who truly care about what they do. They truly care about serving people. This course is rooted in service. All right, it's rooted in taking care of people. It's rooted in going the extra mile. Right? This is for people who walk in purpose or who want to walk in purpose. Right? It's for the purpose-driven entrepreneur. And that's why I'm super happy with this group that I have here, because I think I feel that from all of you. Right? It's not just about the money. Right? It's for service provider who wants to build a business that has a meaningful impact. This is for people who believe that putting people first is the way to truly have success. Right? This is for the service providers who want to transform their business from an ordinary one into an extraordinary one by deeply caring for your clients and exceeding their expectations at every step possible. Right? This is a business foundations course that will go over. We're going to go over your business from the moment somebody decides to engage with your company to the very end of the experience where they decide to send you referrals and even beyond that. Right? We're going to get your business ready to exceed client expectations and generate more income, sell more packages and memberships, and generate referrals with ease. So thank you again so much for being here. I'm so excited to be a small part of your journey. Let's get started. You ready? Awesome. So we're not going to do any goal setting today. That's going to come, I believe, in session 5, where we're actually going to set goals. But we're going to talk about why goals are important and the mistakes that people make around setting goals. Right? There's 5 key mistakes when it comes to setting vision and goals in business. Number 1, the first mistake that people make is that we don't actually have goals. Right? We don't do any resolutions at New Year's, and we don't set any goals at all. Right? About 80% of people say they don't have any goals. So if we don't have something to aim at, then we have no reason to be upset about what we're getting and that we're not getting different results out of our lives. So step number 1 is to actually set a goal. Number 2, we think that we have goals, but we actually only have a part of it. Right? The definition of a goal is an idea of the future or a desired result that a person or group of people envision, plan, and commit to achieve. Right? A goal is a vision, a plan, and a commitment. So at New Year's, we set these resolutions. That's the vision, right? I want to lose 30 pounds. I want to make 10 grand a month. I want to go to Hawaii, etc. Whatever it is, that's the vision, right? It's a proclamation to be better, to do better, to live better, right? We are so hopeful, but then we stop there, right? I believe this is one of the reasons why you get such a high failure rate with New Year's resolutions, right? We don't create a plan and then we don't have the commitment. So what is a plan? A plan is a method for achieving an end. It's a detailed formulation of a program of action. A program of action. It's an orderly arrangement of parts of an overall design or objective, right? Another definition: to devise or project the realization or achieving of something, or to have a specified intention. I like the definition: a detailed formulation of a plan, of a program of action. Right? This is where you're going to be writing out the details of the priorities, the actions, and tactics we're going to take to close that gap on where we are and where we want to be and what we want to achieve. Right? So we need to have a vision, we need to have a plan, but what's missing from our goal? Commitment. Right? The definition of commitment is an agreement or a pledge to do something in the future, or a state or instance of being obligated or emotionally impelled. For those of you who don't know what impelled means, which I didn't either, that means it suggests a strong inner drive to do something, and a great urgency to act, especially for moral reasons. It's different from compelled, which is like it feels like an outside drive. This is an inward drive. Okay. So a vision and a plan are great, but commitment is necessary. Why? Why? Because we have feelings, right? Your feelings will crush your dreams more than anything else will, right? I don't feel like it is the real killer of your dreams. I want to lose 30 pounds, but I don't feel like working out. I want to make $10,000 a month, but I don't feel like messaging people today or sending emails or marketing myself or getting on social media, or maybe I feel scared. I don't feel like going to networking groups, and I don't feel like peopling today. When your feelings come into play, that is when you need to revisit your commitment, right? Another definition of commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or activity, an engagement or obligation that restricts freedom of action. It restricts freedom of action. When you're committed, I no longer get to do whatever I feel like doing. I act regardless of how I feel. I act regardless of how I feel. This doesn't mean your action will be perfect, but we always come back and do our best to honor our commitment. Our society and our world is severely lacking the commitment, severely lacking what it means to be committed to something. We think we can just jump in and out and do whatever we want. When we say we're going to do something, oh, I didn't write it down. We didn't have a contract. We're severely lacking what it means to be committed to something, right? Third mistake is we only say or think about these things, but we don't write them down. 80% of people say they don't have any goals. 16% say they do have goals, but they don't write them down. Writing them down is crucial, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Fourth thing, we write them down, but we only write them once and then never again. Less than 4% of people take time to write their goals down, and less than 1% visit them regularly. And fifth mistake is we don't enlist accountability. We don't enlist accountability, right? Having someone that we are accountable to will make all the difference. Ideally, we want somebody we don't want to disappoint, right? I just paid a fitness coach to help me be accountable to what I eat in my workouts. And I hired him mainly because it would bother me if I didn't fulfill my commitment. If he was disappointed in me or hadn't, like, and I said something that I would do something to him and I didn't, it would make me feel terrible. So that was the main selling point to why I hired him, because he's somebody that I'd be disappointed if I didn't follow through on that commitment. So There was a study done, 267 participants ranging from 23 years old to 72 years old, randomly assigned to 5 groups, right? Group 1 was simply asked to think deeply about their goals and what they wanted to accomplish over the next 4 weeks, but don't write them down, right? So think deeply about them, have goals, but don't write them down. Groups 2, 3, 4, and 5 were asked to write their goals down. Group 3 was asked to formulate a list of action commitments. Group 4 was asked to formulate a list of action commitments and send that list of goals and action commitments to like a supportive friend. And group 5 was asked to do all of the above and provide weekly progress reports to a friend. Right? At the end of that 4 weeks, the participants were asked to rate their progress and the degree to which they accomplished those goals. Right? Group 1 accomplished 43%. So just having goals without writing them down, you're way more likely to actually achieve something. 43% had goals but didn't write them down. Where group 5 achieved 76% of their goals. It's a 33% increase over group 1. Now, for the 1% of people who have goals, who write them down, review them regularly, and enlist accountability, they earn 9 times more over their lifetime than those who don't set goals at all. Does that sound like a lot? 9 times more? Right? That means if you earn an average, if you earn $60,000 a year for the next 45 years, right? Let's say you're 25, you retire at 65, you will have earned $2.7 million, which kind of blows my mind. I thought it would be a lot more than that when I did the math, right? 9 times that. So you make 60,000. The 1% earns 9 times more than that. That's 540,000 per year, right? Take that over 45 years and you will have gone from 2.7 million to 24.3 million in that same amount of time. So for those of you who haven't set any goals, you want to set some now? I know I do. I know I do. I want to be up there. Okay. Now, I believe that most of the hoorah out there around goals doesn't work, right? The go hard or go home mindsets, the all or nothing mindset, the instant gratification mindset. We want it now. I don't agree with these, right? Those mindsets get us into trouble, right? This is where we want instant gratification. We want results. We want them now. See, most people want maximum results with the least amount of effort. And this is why most people don't achieve what they want and they feel stuck and frustrated. This is why the pain pill exists, right? When I tell my clients if they start strengthening, eating better, stretching, and getting massage, and over time, they will most likely feel a lot better. Are they excited about that? No. Nope. But this is what it's like being in business. There is no magic pill that will make you achieve everything you want overnight or even this year. So just like building a wall, you have to do it one brick at a time. So what do we need to do to make our goals not just possible, but inevitable? The first thing we need to do is we need to work on our beliefs and our self-talk. One of my favorite quotes is by Jim Quick. He says, "Your mind is a supercomputer and your self-talk is the program that it runs." That hits me harder than any other, like, The Secret, manifesting, because it just makes so much sense. Your mind is a supercomputer. Your mind is a supercomputer and your self-talk is the program that it runs, your subconscious beliefs, right? If you believe I am just so busy or I never have time to do the things I want to do to work on my business, if that's what you believe, Jordan, go ahead and actually, I'll just mute you. If that's what you believe and that's what your self-talk consists of, then you will work and all of your actions will come together to make that belief true. You will procrastinate things until last minute. You will waste time doing unimportant things. You'll scroll on social media way longer than you should. You'll waste time doing urgent things that don't move the needle towards your dreams, right? You'll stay up late so that you can't get up early like you want to. And you'll do all of these things and sabotage your time. If your belief is, I'm always so busy and I don't have time, that's what you'll do, right? You might say yes to things that don't serve you and then be frustrated and angry about them. You'll allow everybody else's agenda to take over your time if that's your belief, right? Someone I know, she's having this struggle, and when I was talking to her, right, her belief is she doesn't have time. She feels overwhelmed, like she's always saying yes to other people and never has time to work on her business. She's contemplating quitting her job so she has the time, right? But I told her, I was like, if you don't get good at setting boundaries around your time, then it won't matter, right? She thinks she has trouble saying no to people, right? You might think you have trouble saying no, but that's not true. You're very good at saying no. You're not good at saying no to them, but you're very good at saying no to you, right? You're very good at saying no to your dreams. You're very good at saying no to your priorities. If you don't get in the mindset that your dreams are a top priority, then everyone else's emergencies will become yours. If you don't believe your dreams are important, your actions will show it because our beliefs dictate our actions. So, how do we change that? One suggestion would be doing mirror work, right? This is to like consciously work on your beliefs, right? Where you verbalize affirmations or a chosen belief. I am enough. I am worthy and deserving. My time is important. My dreams are important. I forgive you. I trust you. I allow myself to receive, right? I attract my ideal client wherever I go. Money comes to me easy. I'm responsible with money. I do what I say I'm going to do. I'm an action taker. I treat my body like a temple, right? Sometimes we have to do this to get into the right mindset to what? To take action, right? Someone said it like this. Someone said, oh, this is like it's fake it till you make it. And that didn't really resonate with me when he said it because I don't think it's like that. It's not exactly, it's close, but it isn't quite that, right? This doesn't mean like go rent a Lambo to sell your course, right? Fake it till you make it is only something that happens internally to get you in the right mindset or the right vibration, right? It's do things that increase feelings of confidence until you have real confidence. That's how I look at it. Alex Hormozy says we don't become confident by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by having a stack of unbelievable proof. So you don't get real confidence from mirror work. You're just doing that to get yourself in the mindset to do the work that builds real confidence. Does that make sense? You're not going to mirror work your way to being better at talking about money. Right? This is one of the issues I dealt with somebody I was coaching. Is she has a real issue talking to her clients about money and the packages and the memberships. I'm like, yeah, you do want to do the mirror work, but eventually you need to talk about money. The only way to actually get better is to practice and actually talk about the money, to make the offer, right? So what are some other ways in the comments? What are some other ways that you think you can change your beliefs around something? Mirror work was one of them. What are some other suggestions that you guys have? What to say when you talk to yourself? Interesting. I haven't heard of that one, Anne-Marie. Can you guys think of any other ways? Right? Maybe reading, like Anne-Marie just suggested. Reading has been huge for me. around changing my beliefs around money, around business, around success. Looking at past results to show yourself proof that you have been successful before. So I love that, right? Because you've taken action before, you've done the thing. How about hanging out with people with a different mindset? We don't realize how much the people we hang out with regularly affect what we believe about ourselves, about life, about business, about money, about success, right? We got to upgrade our network. But we have to get better at our self-talk and work out our subconscious belief. Talking out loud to yourself, stating affirmations out loud, yes. Right? The second thing, let's move on. The second thing we need to do, so we need to work on our beliefs and self-talk, upgrade our beliefs, upgrade our confidence. The second thing is we actually need to decide what we want, right? This is where we establish our vision, right? Because if we don't know what we want, then there is no reason to be upset about what we get. And most people make a really big mistake here because we're really good at saying what we don't want. And here's the problem. Our mind sees in pictures, right? Your vision is a picture in the mind. You need a picture in your mind of what you want. Our mind is a goal-seeking organism, right? It will create what it sees. Everything is created twice, first in your mind and then in the physical world. So we must focus on what we want, not on what we don't want. Even if I say, I don't want to be broke, your mind is picturing you being broke, and it will create that. For example, do not picture me in a red bikini. Yeah. You're welcome. Bonnie, chill out. I wouldn't look that bad. All right. Good luck getting that out of your head. Yeah. Right. So we need to focus on what we don't want. And I do have a worksheet for this that I'll send you guys. So some of the things we might want to ask ourselves is, what do I want? What do I want to be, feel, do, and have? What do I want to feel, create, or experience more of in my life? What do I want to get clarity on? What or where do you want to go? Right? A clear mind acts and a confused mind procrastinates. Yeah, and that hits home for me because whenever I started this, not started this coaching journey, but whenever I started really taking it serious, I had so many ideas in my head, and I do constantly. Can I tell you how difficult this has been to try to put this program together? Do you know how many things I have going on in here that I need to try to formulate and have a program and a process for? It takes a ton of work for me because oh, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. I have all these ideas. So I had to hire a coach to help me get clarity on laying out the program, on laying out my coaching offerings and things like that, because I had all these ideas for a long time, but I never acted on any of them because I couldn't get clear on them. And so you got to get clear. Even if the vision changes, a little clarity now will help you take so much action. It'll be unbelievable. But most of what we actually want, right? No matter what you write down, most of what we want is a feeling. We want feelings of peace and joy and feelings of abundance, right? We think it's a number, and that number might cause the feeling, but it's still a feeling that we're after. We might want to be more calm. I want to feel more successful. I want to do more trips and have more time off. I want more money, right? millions in real estate, a paid off house. I want passive income that allows me to never worry about money again. These are some of the things that I want. So when you're doing this exercise, don't hold back. Don't hold back. Don't judge yourself for the things that you want. Just write. And there's some key areas you want to get clear on. You want to get clear. Here they are. And I have a worksheet for this too, so you don't need to write this part down. If you don't want to, you can if you just like taking notes like me. Number one, you want to get clear spiritually. What's my relationship with God? If you have one at all. If you have one or desire one, what do you want? What do you want to do more of or to connect? How do you want to connect more with God? What experience do you want more of there? Number two, health. What do I want it to create or experience more of with my health? How often do I want to work out? How do I want to feel energetically? Third thing is relationships. Your relationships with yourself, with your family, with work people, with you being the most important. What do you want to feel more in your life? What feelings do you want to have about yourself? What do I want to create in my relationship with my family, my friends, and my work culture? Number four, business and career. What do I want to feel more of in my business or my career? More fulfillment, more feelings of success. What would need to happen to get those feelings? Financially, how much money do I want to make? How much, not even how much money do I want to make? How much gap do I want in my income between my expenses and what I earn? That's what I really care about. What would it feel like? My goal around that, I want all of my expenses to be only 10% of my income. That's my target. It's a big goal. But what kind of freedom would you have in your life if that was the case? If 90% of your income was free, what kind of life could you have? It's okay to dream a little bit here. All right, what would it feel like to not have to worry about money ever again? How much would I need to make to feel more peace around my finances? Number six, personal growth and mindset. What will I do to make sure that I nourish my own mind in personal growth? What mental state do I desire? Ultimately, we're all after feelings, right? Like I said, feelings of success, feelings of joy, feelings of peace, feelings of contentment, feelings of gratefulness. That's what I want my inner mind to be. I highly recommend number seven. I highly recommend that you create you get clear around fun and joy. You writing out a joy list, right? What does fun look like for me? And again, I have a worksheet for this as well, where on one side you're going to have paid things that you can do for fun and free things that you can write out for fun. Right? Some of the paid things for me are movies. Love going to the movies. Uh, Water parks, amusement parks. Some of the free things are just playing tag with my kids at the park, going on walks with my wife. Right? We don't everything that we do that's fun doesn't need it's hanging out with friends. It doesn't need to be expensive. Hanging out with friends, even just at the house, immense joy. Right? Is there anything that is stopping me from having more fun that I need to eliminate? Is there anything holding back my joy that I need to eliminate? Maybe it's a person. Maybe it's your environment. one of my business coach, she did an exercise with me with the group where she said, like, I want you to picture yourself inside of your home, like walk up to the front of your home in your mind. Does that inspire you or expire you? I was like, expire. She's like, walk into your house. Or walk up to your front door. Does that inspire or expire? I'm like, expire. Can't stand it. Walk into your living room. Inspire or expire? Hate it. And she visually, in my mind, went through every area in my house, my closet, my bedroom, my living room, my kitchen, my garage, my backyard. All of it expired me. And I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how much joy that was sucking out of my life. Just because my house isn't the way I want it, or it's just like it's dark and it's not bright and there's no curtains on the window. And, you know, like I walk in and I feel stressed. I actually would blame my wife that she didn't want people over because she didn't like the way our house was. And that's why we don't really have people over. I didn't realize until that exercise, I was just letting her be the scapegoat. I just blamed it on, even though it was actually me too. I never pushed it, right? I never said, you know what, we do need to have people over. Who cares what our house thinks? Nope, because I actually hated it myself. Didn't even realize it. And so we instantly made strides to change that. Simple painting the walls white. Again, fresh paint, curtains, a couple pillows and blankets in the living room. Completely changed the way that I felt about my space. Right? Number 9, community. How will I foster more community and build community building in my life and business, right? We are a species that requires community. And one of the top qualities for successful people who also have true fulfillment is that they are community builders. So, your vision assignment, your homework, and we're not done. Your homework is to create and capture in writing. I call this my favorite self-writing exercise. You're going to write your own vision of the 8 key areas and add details, feelings, and get clarity on how you want to feel, what you want to be, do, and have in your life. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to tell you what mine is. Some of it, anyways. It's kind of long. You ready? Oh, yeah. I have the energy for everything I want and need to do. I eat healthy and I trust myself around food. I am strong and work out 4 to 5 days a week. I am patient, calm, and stoic in stressful situations. I live in trust that everything is working for me. And I understand that any situation, whether perceived good or bad in the moment, will lead to something that leads me to where I am supposed to be or what I'm supposed to be doing. I tell the truth even when it's hard. I am in full control of my time and I move in peace in everything. My family trusts me. My wife follows me. I am amazing at being fully present with my kids and wife, taking care to set good boundaries around my time. I have a great relationship with my wife, and I know that we always have each other's back. I am confident and know when to say yes, and I know when to say no in accordance with serving others and my goals. I control social media and the time that I spend there. I am organized. I attract the most amazing servant-minded people into my life and business. I experience so much joy in my life that others are affected positively just by being in my presence. I have a paid off house. Our expenses never exceed 10% of our income. We fully invest into our Roth IRA and we are on track to retiring with 6 million plus at age 65. My kids feel supported and loved by my wife and I. We have great friends in our that are growth minded and God fearing. I lead people to Christ by the example of my life and the work that God has done in me. I am coaching full time and making $500,000 a year in coaching. I am continuing to open salons. I own buildings that my salons are in so I can control rent. My renters love where they work, and we do a great job of fostering an environment for community to happen. I have an immense amount of peace in my life, and I never do anything that takes away from my peace. No amount of money is worth not having peace. I am extremely generous, whether that be with my time and talents or with our financial means. I am committed to giving back and showing God's love through generosity. That's my life vision. And that's a work in progress, right? I can't hear you, but I feel like you probably said something good, Christian. So that's what I want you to do. Write it and write it like you already have it, right? Because again, our mind sees in pictures, right? So picture the favorite version of yourself and write about yourself in detail as if you already have it, achieved everything that you write, right? When you do wake up, when do you wake up? How often do you work out? How do you show up in all of these areas of your life with you, with your family, with your friends, with your clients, with your kids, and so on? Okay. The second thing, you don't need to do this right away, but if you can get it done sooner, maybe some of you already have it, create a vision board. Again, our mind sees in pictures. I got mine right up there. Right? Vision boards are so powerful because we start visualizing what we want as if we already have it, and then we start noticing those signs. So you need to, and then you need to visit your vision regularly. You can write your goals down every day. Have a vision board, but don't just write them down and don't just look at them. I want you to feel it. Feel it. Take time to visualize, ponder, and feel into your vision and dreams and goals. How would it feel once you arrived at your goal? What would you be doing throughout your day? Who would you be spending time with? How would it feel to have that amount of money in your bank account? It's crazy once you have the vision of what you want. You'll start noticing these signs. Things will start showing themselves. And since you're aware of something that you want, you're aware of it, things will, similar to me wanting like a Subaru WRX STI. I got to remember to put that in my life vision. I see them everywhere, right? They've always been there. I just notice them now because it's something I have stated that I want, right? Since you notice them, you can start taking advantage of the opportunities that were always there. You can start taking advantage of the things that start inching you towards your goal. Now you're just becoming a vibrational match for these things, and they're revealing themselves to you. Like that's the law of attraction, right? First, we ask for what we want, then we believe that we will get what we want, and the third thing that is missing is we take action. This is the part of the law of attraction that nobody talks about. Nothing happens without action. I absolutely love this quote that I heard from Chris Williamson. He's a guy I see on TikTok. He says, preparing to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Scheduling time to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Making a to-do list to do the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on yourself for not doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on other people who have done the thing isn't doing the thing. Hating on the obstacles in your way of doing the thing isn't doing the thing. Fantasizing about all of the adoration you'll receive from doing the thing isn't doing the thing. The only thing that is doing the thing is doing the thing. Right? The common denominator of everyone I've coached who has had success is this: they take action. We come up with a plan and they start working on the plan. Not perfect action, committed action. They didn't get everything done perfectly. They just got to work and started making progress. Right? And through the next 4 weeks together, you need to commit to one thing, and that is doing the thing. Taking massive action. I can tell right away if somebody's going to be successful or not. And all I have to do is look at what they're doing. So how do we do that? We focus on effort, not outcomes. All right? We visualize the big picture. A plan is the step to get there. What will I do daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly to get there? What are you moving towards or building brick by brick, right? The mistake here is most people feel negativity or feel down about their goals, or they give up because they are results focused. right? They are outcome focused, not habit focused or effort focused or progress focused. So we focus on progress and effort, not outcomes. I love this quote. My business coach quotes this all the time. She says, "Don't judge the day by the harvest that you reap. Judge the day by the seeds that you plant." I do not know what the results are going to be. I don't control results. That's God's business, right? I stay in my business. My business is effort. Focusing on the small daily actions that lead to bigger results has been amazing. In some of my marketing, I've said that I want to help you build a life and business that you love. And maybe that could even lead to a business and life. So I think my dog's scratching at the door. That you never thought you could possibly dream of having. Right? When I started building my massage business, I had no idea that I would end up here. No idea. I had no plans of being a business coach or consultant. The outcome isn't even what brings me the most joy. Right? I was talking to my brother-in-law the other day, and he reminded me of a Kobe quote. Right? When a media person asked him if he's excited about winning the playoff series, and he just responded, "Job's not done." Right? The accomplishment of the goal is not where I get the most joy. I accomplish a goal, and then I'm just on to the next one. I do, and I've had to learn to stop and celebrate. And I'm much better at that now. But I'm just happy to be engaged in the process of going after it. Right? I'm just happy to be in the pursuit of my dreams. Not everybody gets to do this. Most people spend their whole life hating their life because they're stuck at something they don't want to do. At least you're in the process of it. Not everyone gets to be here. So when it comes to making progress and effort, we need to chunk it down. Right? We can have a big goal, but then we need to chunk it down into smaller, more digestible parts. Right? In football, what is the goal? In the comments, let's see if you guys know. What's the goal in football? Touchdown. To score touchdowns to win the game. Yeah. That's what we think the goal is. Right? We think the goal is to get a touchdown. It is the big goal, right? But when we chunk it down, getting 3.5 yards per play leads to a first down every 3 plays. Getting a first down allows us to keep playing. Getting enough first downs eventually leads to the touchdown. So sure, the touchdown is the goal, but we have to focus on the 3.5 yards at a time. Otherwise, we will just throw a Hail Mary every play and wonder why we lost. Right? When I'm writing this presentation, right? This is the goal. The presentation and having this finished is the goal. But if I just focused on like doing the presentation instead of the small daily tasks that needed to be done, the daily goal of working on this for just 30 minutes a day, reading books around goal setting, listening to podcasts around goal setting, setting a structure for the talk, thinking about and writing stories to illustrate my points, making posts, writing emails, DMing people, I'm not focused on the outcome. I didn't know how many people, if I would actually get 5 people on this. I just did the things that I thought would get me there, right? I focus on the things I can control. I am only focused on planting seeds. Did I plant enough seeds? What else can I do to promote this workshop? Right? We can't control outcomes. We can influence them, but we don't control if they actually happen or when they happen. Right? We can get better at influencing them with sales and marketing and messaging and all these things, but we still don't control it. Right? This mindset has been one of the biggest reasons I even got my planner done. Right? The small daily steps that led to that. Unbelievable how much work that was. Right? I had no idea when the income would happen, when the outcome would happen. I just knew that my harvest is inevitable. I plant the seeds, I water the seeds, but I don't control the sunshine. But I trust that God has a plan for me, and I trust that everything is working for me. So one of my new favorite quotes is, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Before we achieve what we want, small daily actions. After we achieve what we want, small daily actions. We can't control the outcome, but we can control the effort. We can't control whether someone buys your service or your product. I cannot control how any planners I sold or how many people showed up today. I can only control the seeds I plant and the effort I take. How many people will you contact? How many people will you nurture or follow up with every day? How many posts will you make? This you can write down. Right? How many stories on Instagram will you post? How many thank you cards will I write every week? How many events will I go to or networking things will I show up to? How often will I work to actually improve my skills and my sales and my marketing and the soft skills in business? Those are the things that need to be in your plan. We're not after perfection here. We're after perfection is 100% or nothing, right? If you guys can stay with me, I know we're coming up to an hour. We got a few more points to go over. I told you this first training is going to be a little longer than most of them, right? Perfection is 100% or nothing, right? We're after progress. Progress is 10% is so much better than nothing. If that's all I got to give today, a 10-minute workout is so much better than nothing. Working on your goals for 15 minutes is so much better than nothing. Right? Progress mindset is give 100% when you have it, but if you don't, keep moving forward. Do something. So in the comments, the only question I have for you right now is, are you willing to take imperfect action to get what you want? Love it. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Love that. Okay. So this has probably been one of the most impactful things for my mindset around goals, something that really helped me take action and bring more peace and more joy in my life. Okay. We're focusing on effort over outcomes. The fourth thing is be productive, not busy. Have you heard someone say, I'm just so busy, right? We talked about this earlier. I think we think that we're going to get some reward for being busy, right? You don't get a badge for being busy. You don't get paid for being busy. You get paid for being productive. What's the difference? Busy work involves a flurry of actions that keep you occupied but don't contribute significantly to achieving your goals. While productive work is all about tasks that move the needle forward, directly align with your objectives, and deliver tangible results. So, tips to be more productive. First, you need to declutter your mind. This is partly why we're doing this writing exercise of doing it in the vision. But you need to, one question I love to ask myself is, what do I need to eliminate, complete? What do I need to eliminate or complete? Or what do I need to let go of or clean up in my life? You can make a sheet with 4 squares on it and you can write those down. Eliminate, complete, let go of, clean up. Like I said, a clear mind takes action and a confused mind procrastinates. We can have feelings of being overwhelmed when our mind is cluttered. So the best thing to do in that situation is to get it out of your head and get it on paper, and then prioritize, complete it, put it off for later intentionally, right? That's not procrastination. That's intentionally putting something off that we can do later that isn't urgent now or important now. Eliminate it or clean it up. One of my coaching clients was feeling overwhelmed because she had all these things on her list that she needed to do. She felt like they were all necessary now. So I said, okay, let's jump on a call. Let's prioritize them, right? We narrowed that list from like 8 or 9 things down to 3. Some of the things I'm like, you can just get rid of that completely. Not important anytime soon. Some of the things I'm like, we can revisit this in 3 months. Not important now. Here's the 3 most urgent and important things that you can do. And then bang, she had clarity and she took action and got those things done. And sometimes you just need a little help with that. That's okay. You can do it yourself by writing it out on paper as well. 2 is to actually in your schedule have focused time to work on your goals. Right? How many of you have trouble focusing? Is that just a me thing? No. Okay. One of the best ways you can improve focus is by first managing distractions. Yeah. 50% of being productive is managing the distractions or getting rid of distractions. I want technology working for me, not against me, and not something that runs me or that I can't control. Right? So I turn off all my notifications and I only get a summary 4 times a day. This includes text message. Did I do text message this time? On my old phone, it included everything, including text messages. So no text message notifications, no phone call notifications. Phone calls will come through, and I would see it at 7:30. I think 12 or 8, 12, 2, 4:30, and 8 p.m. I have a summary of notifications that happened over that amount of time. You can set that up in your iPhone if you have an Android. I'm sorry, I don't know what to do there. If you have an Android, like what are we doing? I'm just right. So turning off notifications allows me to be more intentional about when I look at my phone instead of constantly being pulled into it. No social media notifications, not messages, not somebody liked my post, zero. I don't want any of them. I will go look at and see the notifications when I go check my phone. If somebody's upset that I didn't get back to them right away in a text message, you should have called me. Text messages, not an urgent thing. If it's urgent, you should always be calling me. Right? The next thing around being focused is time block. Right? Do a 30-minute time block where we work on something with laser focus. Just 30 minutes. You would be amazed at what you can get done in 30 minutes. This program, to get these things done, sometimes it's 30 minutes a day. It's 15 minutes in between clients that I sit down and write something or read something or learn about something. No phone, no text, no social media. Put your phone in another room when you're on this focus time. You'll be amazed at what you can get done. Tell the other people in your home, give me 30 minutes, no distractions. Don't walk in this door. Don't knock on the door. Don't come ask me because your knee got hurt. Talk to your brother about that for the next 30 minutes. That's what I tell my kids. Right? It's incredible what you can get done. And you can even take that 30 minutes and do this pick 2 thing where you work on one personal thing for 30 minutes. You work on one business thing for 30 minutes per day. Right? Maybe it's a closet that needs to get cleaned up, an area in your house that needs to get cleaned up, your office needs to get organized. Put a timer, work on it for 30 minutes. You will be amazed at what you can get done in 30 minutes with no distractions. And then you might have to, the third thing is you might need to enroll support, right? For someone, it might be time to get some help with the kids, or you can just ask yourself, like, where do I need support? Right? Enroll support to get things done or take them off your plate that are cluttering your mind. Maybe it's a virtual assistant, maybe it's a house cleaner, a handyman, a babysitter, website developer, right? Ask yourself, where do I need to enroll support, and write that down. One of the things I did to enroll support in order for me to be a little more consistent around my coaching business is I hired a virtual assistant who would create opt-ins and landing pages for me in email sequences. Because I can do it, but it's super time consuming. And it's one of the things that I kind of dreaded doing. And I'm like, dude, just creating opt-in pages, it takes me an hour or several hours. She gets it done in like half the time. and I can continue working on things that are a little bit more productive on the actual offerings and the services that I'm delivering. So be productive, not busy. You guys with me? Let's take a sip of coffee. All right. So you'll need this more than just about anything to hit your goals. This is probably one of, if not the most important thing that you could have in your business. Do we know what it is? If you think you know what it is, raise your hand real quick. All right, hold on, Anne-Marie, I'm muting you. Go ahead, unmute. What is it?
Clients.
No.
You don't have headphones in. No.
Close. It's energy. It's energy. That's the number one thing. You need to have energy. So we need to keep your energy and protect your energy at all costs, right? You will need high levels of energy to hit your goals. If you have goals, energy needs to be a priority, right? You want to do everything you can to make sure you feel amazing, that your energy is high. Hold on one sec. Right? Because when I feel good and my energy is high, I don't need to be motivated. Right? We have a battery. We have limited energy, but we can recharge. Right? This is 100% why I get massages every other week at a minimum. Appreciate you, Bonnie, for keeping me going. Right? And I might go once a week depending on my activity levels. If my activity levels need to be super high, then I might go once a week. Right? This is 100% why I exercise. Right? We need to protect our energy. We need to get rid of things, manage things, or set firm boundaries around things that take away from our energy. So things like social media and TV shows, right? Those are couch potato activities. Right? I'm not saying you don't watch them, but I watch all my TV shows while I work out and do dishes. I'm on my phone watching. I rarely sit down and watch a TV show unless it's a movie with my kids. My kids and I have shows together. That's like our quality time. I make that a priority. The news, especially negative news, sucks the life out of you. Right? Maybe managing people who put you down or your goals down. Right? Or who try to keep you attached to an old version of yourself. Right? Going out with friends and staying out late that overlaps into your morning routine. Right? Drinking and smoking does not help your energy. The snooze button does not help your energy. You want to start your day off with procrastination? Nah. Right? We need to manage the things that take away from our energy. We need to increase the things that give us energy. Right? Sleep, exercise. Right? Many of you think you need energy to exercise. You don't. Energy gives you exercise. Right? You exercise so that you have the energy. Staying hydrated, reading or podcast, increase energy. Getting massages, going for a walk, spending time in the sun. Right? You might create a joy list like we talked about earlier, things that you love and that inspire you, and do something on that joy list when you're feeling low energy. Eating protein and having a good diet. Do you have any idea how much your diet affects your energy? If you've never felt good, I can almost promise you that your diet is part of the problem. If you don't feel good and have high energy, change your diet. Energy must be a top priority. Are we in agreement? Perfect. Number 6, trusting yourself. This is important because you won't even start. You won't even start doing anything until you trust yourself. Right? This is absolutely one of the top reasons we don't get what we want. It's why we might not even set goals in the first place, because we don't actually believe we will take the action necessary to create what we want, right? Nothing happens without trust, right? I remember several months ago, maybe over a year ago, my son told me he wanted to work out the night before. He's like, "Hey, will you wake me up so I can work out he wanted to work out with me." Right? Went up about 5 in the morning, went to wake him up, and he got up, "Dad, can I just skip?" I thought for a second, because I almost allowed him to, because I felt bad because he's so tired. And then I told him, "I'm sorry, bud. Trusting yourself is probably one of the most important things you can do in this life. And the way you build that trust is by doing the things you said you're going to do. As your father, I cannot allow you to not keep your word to yourself. So get up and let's get this workout going." I didn't have that growing up. I didn't have somebody to do that for me. That's also one of the reasons why accountability and having somebody you're accountable is so important, so that they can be that for you. So that when your feelings come into play, they can say, "Dude, I don't care about your feelings today. Get up and do the thing." Right? I have to actually, either I need to enroll my wife to do this for me. I have to hire a coach to do this for me, right? Because even if you do have high levels of trust in yourself, while you're building that, you're gonna stumble, right? And so it's very important to have somebody who can be that for you, right? But a lot of times we have to be that person for ourselves, right? Because the more you trust yourself, the more you're going to be willing. The more you trust yourself, the more you're willing to do. The more you trust yourself, the bigger your goals can be. The more you trust yourself, the more you're going to accomplish. But how do you build that trust? Number one, simply by doing the things you said you're going to do. Hey, I'll text you a video to help you with stretches, or I'll text you a skincare routine later on, and then you actually do it. It's, "Hey, babe, I'll do the dishes this afternoon," and then you actually do it. It's keeping promises, not just to other people, but to yourself, right? You want to, and start with the small things. This is why the small things matter, right? And then you can graduate to bigger things. Because in the beginning, you're going to have to push past your feelings a lot. You're not going to feel like doing it most of the time. And on those days, on most days, right? And this is why we start with small and we build momentum, right? You start with something you see. When you see with something that needs to be done, and you think to yourself, "I should do that." You see the pile of clothes on your floor, and you think to yourself, "I should pick those up and do the laundry." Just do it. Right? This is where the 5-second rule comes in. Have any of you read the 5-second rule by Mel Robbins? Hands down, one of the best books I've ever read when it comes to taking action. Right? This book had me on fire. I've read it 3 times. Anytime I feel myself starting to not take action, I read it again. Right? Because in this book, she talks about all day long we have these prompts, these ideas that pop into our head constantly, and within 5 seconds we'll have talked ourselves out of them, right? If we do one small thing that can seriously help move ourselves out of our head and into action, that one small thing is, when we get an idea of something we should do, and this idea comes to us, we count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we get up and we move to action immediately on that thing. This one tip has the power to completely change your life, because it is rooted in getting you to take action. Action is the difference maker, right? When we have a goal of working out and the thought pops into our head that we should work out real quick before work, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and do it. The idea of texting a past client pops into our head, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get out your phone and send it. A prompt of asking a client to shoot content with you, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, speak up and ask the question, right? Because fear is going to come up, right? Doubt is going to come up, right? Everyone's full of good ideas, but the action is the missing piece. This rule will help you stay consistent when you don't feel like it. And trust me, you won't. I think of a client, I text them or call them. I think of a good gift for my wife, a friend, or a client, I get it. I buy it immediately, assuming I can afford it. I want to work out. The idea pops into my head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I get up and I set up the video and I get started. Even if it's just for 10 minutes. Have the idea. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do the thing. The counting stops those thoughts from coming into your head that are going to talk you out of doing the thing. Because these ideas pop into your head and you're like, I'll do it later.
Mm-hmm.
A client pops into your head and you're like, I'll do it later. Right? A gift idea pops into your head for somebody. I'll buy that later. And then you never do it. But Michael, what if I'm focusing on something else and the idea pops in my head? Because I have ADHD. Who has ADHD? I don't know if I do, but I feel like I got ADHD tendencies. I can tell you that. Hey, Bonnie, I'll be talking to Bonnie. I got like ideas just flooding out of them. I'm like, you know what? Let me slow down, Bonnie. I'm so sorry. I think I have ADHD. I got all these ideas just flow out of me. I'll tell her to do something. I'll come back 2 seconds later. Hey, by the way, can you do this? Like it's just constantly going. I'm sorry about that, Bonnie. I'm working on it. Right. But Michael, I have ADHD. Right. If I'm in a place where I'm supposed to be focusing and then I got to, right. And these ideas pop into my head, these prompts come up, then I just write them down. I write them down in my notes on a piece of paper in my planner, or, hey Siri, remind me to text Anne Marie at 10:30 just to say thank you for joining my class.
Okay, I added text Anne Marie for this morning at 10:30 a.m.
Back to focusing. That way the idea is there. It pops up later when I have time, and I can get back to doing what I'm doing. And then I get that idea out of my head so it isn't distracting me. Right? So you can set a reminder on your phone like that. That is clutch. I don't even know. Maybe I can ask her like, hey, will you send a text message to Anne Marie at 10:30 and just get it done? And it probably will do that. You can also use the 5-second rule to get back on track. You start getting distracted, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back to focusing on what I'm doing. It's very difficult to start new habits like this because not only do we need to start something new, we need to stop something old, right? If my goal is to work out 3 days a week, I know that in order to do that, I need to get up earlier so I have enough time in the morning to do that. Well, setting my alarm and getting up early is one of the things that needs to be consistent, right? So that's the new habit that I need to start. But I have an old habit that is also working against me, and that also needs to be replaced. And it's probably even more important to focus on that, right? The current habit is staying up late and scrolling on my phone, which prevents me from being able to get up early on a consistent basis. Or it just makes it much more difficult. I don't get enough sleep, even though I got up. Right. So not only do I need to set my alarm earlier, I need to go to bed earlier. I need to change my bedtime and be more focused on going to bed. Because if I go to bed on time, I actually don't even need to set an alarm to get up early. If I go to bed at 9:30, I wake up at 4:30 naturally. I don't even need to set an alarm. So last tip when it comes to trusting yourself is focus on the rule of consistency over intensity. Consistency over intensity. Literally apply this rule to any area of your life and it will improve. Sometimes we want to go hard on something, but then we get overwhelmed and we quit, which leads to not trusting ourselves. I watched a real life race between a tortoise and a hare. Do you guys know who won? The tortoise actually won in real life. But it's because it took slow but consistent action. It steadily and slowly moved forward, where the hare took big jumps, and then it stopped. And it sat there for a while until somebody was like, hey, go, go, go. And then it would take 2 big jumps, and then it would stop. The tortoise crushed the hare. But dude, you try consistency, apply consistency over intensity with your spouse versus going, we're going on weekly date nights, bi-weekly date nights, having coffee in the morning regularly, talking regularly, versus not doing any of that and going hard on Valentine's Day, birthday, and Christmas. Who's going to have the better relationship? With friendships, consistently reaching out to them versus just having an event once a year. Big vacation once a year. Who's going to have the better relationship with their friends? With marketing, posting once a day versus going hard for 1 month and then not doing it for the rest of the year. Who's going to have the better results? With working out, doing 30 minutes a day versus doing a 6-week program and then stop working out for a year. Who's going to get the better results? I would rather you do less more consistently than you do more on occasion. Small, consistent action is key. So we went over beliefs and self-talk, deciding what you want and establishing your vision, effort, which is your homework. Work on your vision over the next couple of days. It's one of your homeworks. My favorite, self-vision. Effort over outcome, progress over perfection, being productive over being busy, create and protect your energy, trusting yourself. And a bonus tip. Hold on, let me get Christian in here. A bonus tip is to use a planner. Right? You don't have to use mine. I am biased though. I created it for people like us. For us, by us. No, I'm just kidding. Right? Every day, there's a space to write down 3 things I'm grateful for. Right? So I don't know what your routine is, but starting your day off with being grateful is a really great practice. A lot of us are after happiness. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. Happy, sad, up and down, up and down. If you shoot for gratefulness, you will have a steady, right? Happiness is a byproduct of gratefulness, in my opinion. Right? It's to get in the mindset of gratefulness, which is also one of the most attractive energies that you can have. Right? Every day there's a space for me to map out my morning routine. I do this the night before so that I know what I want for myself and my time in the morning. Every day there's a space for me to write out my goals. Right? Only 1% of people write down their goals regularly and review them. I want to be in that 1%. What happens for the person that writes down their goals every day? Right? Every day there's a space for you to write down the most important task. If I was only able to get one thing done today, what would move the needle the most? Right? This helps us focus on making sure I am productive and not busy. At least I did one thing today to move the needle. Right? Every day there's a space to write down who I want to go, who I am going to contact, connect, or nurture today. And every day there's a space for me to write down my wins for the day. Now, the plan is a bonus tip, but just writing down your wins is clutch. That is another way for you to keep your energy high, right? And to keep progress moving around your goals. Because we get down on ourselves about how much we did today or this week because we forget. I have this planner up here, this calendar on my wall that I track all the quality time that I spend with my family and my friends. Because I remember one year I was thinking, dude, what did we do last year? The only thing I could really think of that was significant was a trip we took to Big Bear as a family. I could not think of all of the tiny bits of time that we spent together, the movies that we watched, the times we played tag. I couldn't think of any of that. The times I read them a bedtime story. And I'm feeling like, dude, I'm not spending any time with my kids. When I started writing down, I'm like, dude, I'm spending too much time with my kids. Y'all gotta chill. right? But it's because I was keeping track of it now. And I'm seeing, dang, I'm actually doing a lot. I'm actually a lot better than I thought I was, right? So it helps you realize and show you your progress. If we don't do that, we literally think we haven't done anything this week, or we think we did 3 or 4 bigger things, and we forget the small actions. We forget the text messages sent, the post that was made, the comment that we engaged with somebody, right? Because if I don't forget, I literally, right? It's that doing that is just amazing for your mental and for keeping the progress, right?
Mhm.
Listen, thank you guys so much for showing up today. I hope this is beneficial. I have some time if you guys want to stick around for a minute and just talk and ask questions or anything that we went over. Your homework is to fill out the vision worksheet that I'm going to send you. It's to create your ideal life vision and start making progress on getting clear about the life and business that you want. Progress, right? This doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to get started. So don't judge yourself for what you want, right? And remember, there's one way I can tell who will be successful at something and who won't. The only thing I look at are the actions that they take. Are they continuing to do nothing to make progress? Or are they doing something? Right? Your commitment for this next 4 weeks is action. Not perfect action. Committed action. All right. On Thursday, we're going to go over pricing and profit. We're going to go over, actually move that, but we're going to be going over how to price your services properly, right? Your homework for that I need done, ideally, if you can get this done, is to go through your bank account, write down all of your monthly expenses for your business and your personal. And as a bonus, if you write down anything else that you spent money on that wasn't necessarily planned, that'll just give you a visual of like, hey, dude, I'm actually, yeah, I bought these things, but I didn't need to buy these things, and I might be wasting quite a bit of money here. Right? So, but I need the business total for the month, and I need the business total for the personal for you guys to get the most out of Thursday. Right? And then total those numbers up separately. Right? All right. Thank you guys so much.